Hello, everyone. A beautiful Sunday morning. Somewhere there's rain, somewhere there's sunshine. There are places where there are overcast skies, and somewhere there are clear skies with cool breeze. That's exactly how our life is. At times we are happy, at times we are upset. Upset with the results we expected but we didn't get. But as a wise man has said, don't be upset with the results you didn't get from the work and the efforts you didn't do. And with every passing moment in our lives, there are two things which are happening: learning and growing. We are learning in terms of getting better and improved version of ourselves, beating our own selves which we were yesterday in terms of the physicality, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial. And only when we apply these learnings, we bring these learnings into our actions in day-to-day lives, repeatedly, daily, weeks, months, over years, over a long period of time, is only and when we can confidently say and proclaim to the world that yes, we are growing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. And it's also not about becoming something in life. Rather, interestingly, it's about unbecoming what you and I are actually not, so that we can become who we really and truly are, the real you, the genuine you. And it's the qualities, the virtues like determination, never giving up, the faith, the self-belief. These are the qualities, the virtues which are our journey of life. Hello and welcome to Wellness Talks with Rajiv, the grand finale episode. It's been such a beautiful, enriching, entertaining, and such a growing journey, all of us together, along with our esteemed guests and panelists. And this, as you all know, is the GALF platform. GALF, Get a Life Fitness. Get a Life Fitness, GALF, is a wellness aggregator firm with pan-India presence and global ambitions. GALF specializes in corporate wellness ecosystems through its MyGALF technology platform, be it the mobile application or the web app, and customized holistic interventions. And the qualities which I mentioned above: never say die spirit, self-belief, faith, being unstoppable. These are the very virtues our today's grand finale special guests, the three dynamic, inspiring ladies, are an epitome of. Let's welcome them. Sonia Kulkarni, Aisha Bilimoya, and Khyati Dhankar. A big, huge, warm welcome to Wellness Talks with Rajiv.
Hi.
And today being the Guru Purnima day, Khyati, today being, ladies, today being the Guru Purnima day, so on behalf of all those who seek wellness, I, Rajiv Bharadwaj, bow down to thee, the teen Devya of wellness. I bow down to thee and our coaches, our wellness gurus, and here's wishing you and everyone happy Guru Purnima. And on this very note, we would like to kickstart the grand finale. So, really excited to talk to you, have all three of you on board. As all our viewers are also aware, this show is live and candid. Okay, Aisha, would you want to put your camera on the landscape mode?
Sure.
And starting with you, Aisha Billy Moria, the founder of Fit Girl India. And you're the one who believes in live and let live. There's Sonia Kulkarni, who's the managing partner at Hunk Golden and Media and founder of hashtag She Dares. That's very interesting. And we have the very charming Khyati Dhankar. She believes what goes around comes around, and it's all in your mind. yes, you can do anything if you put your heart, soul, and mind to it.
Yes, that's true.
Ladies, it's so wonderful and feeling energized, enthused. I feel blessed. गुरु पूर्णिमा दिन पे 3 देवियों के साथ में I am in the grand finale. So, Aisha, you made it to the national level track running at a fairly young age, 100 meters, 200 meters champion. And since then, you've donned many hats. You're an athlete, a coach, a model, TEDx speaker. You also did a corporate wellness engagement through the GAS, right? So please talk us through your exciting, interesting, and very inspiring journey, Aisha.
Well, I started very young. I was only 13 years old when I started athletics. I became state champion, national champion at a very young age. So I started seeing the world at a very early age when it came to sport and just general life. You know, when you are out in the world training and competing, you start seeing things that you would not typically see in your own country. You know, because when you get out, you get more exposure. So for me,
Absolutely.
life has kind of been built on this platform of sport. And I think I'm very, very grateful that it came to me. And it has been life changing for me. You know, I never expected to become fit girl. I never thought that I would be a public speaker. I was extremely shy of the camera. I was extremely nervous when it came to talking on a public platform. So becoming who I am today, I think all the unbecoming was when I was younger to now become who I am. So it has actually been a very difficult journey with all the ups and downs, more downs really than ups. So I can't say that it has been easy to become who I have become, but it has definitely been very fruitful and very satisfying to reach this level today, because I don't think anybody can reach the top if they don't face hardships, because hardships are what make you, your experiences are what build you into the person who you are today. And I'm very thankful for those experiences and the people who I have encountered in this duration, you know, of being here. So yeah, everything is it looks nice now, but it has been a lot of work to get to here, but I'll never complain about it.
And that's one thing that's a hallmark of a true champion, that champions never complain, and rather when you spoke about it's never been not been easy for
Yeah,
champions. Things are never easy. It's the fighter within the champion who
absolutely.
comes out and takes him or her to cross over those hurdles and
Yeah.
proclaim to the world that Olympics, here Aisha comes.
In fact,
Yeah.
Aisha's words reminded me of of a famous saying which says, "It took me 20 years to become an overnight success." You know.
Yeah,
Patience,
that's right.
absolutely.
That's true. Actually, it has taken me 20 years to become who I am. And lots of people don't know. I mean, today people know via Instagram who I am and they Google me, etc. But I have never gone out of my way to promote myself of who I was in the past, because I believe that that was in the past and now is the present, you know, and what can you become in the present? But I
Absolutely.
know of my journey of what I have done when I was younger, in my teens, in my 20s. It is the reason why I could go ahead and call myself fit girl, because I always believe that fit girl doesn't just mean physically being fit. Fit
Yeah,
means holistic fitness, you know, mind,
holistic.
emotional, and physical self. So to become this person, it has really taken me 20 years. So
And
yeah, it's
when Kathy and Aisha talk about the number, the digital number 20, it's, my past 20 hours have been so eventful. As much as I have heard, I have known about Aisha, Kathy, Sonia socially, but when you are hosting a show and when you're inviting these inspiring ladies on your show as personalities, as achievers, and the previous 20 hours studying, knowing about Aisha, Kathy, and Sonia, it has been nothing short of nothing less than inspiring and supercharging. So
In fact,
probably the
yesterday also
Rajiv,
I was just yesterday. In fact, I was just about to express my feeling, and I was about to request you. Why didn't you just send me all your studies? Because even I want to read everything about them.
but it's been such an amazing 20 hours knowing about you ladies and Sonia Kulkarni. What an interesting and such an impressive resume of yours. You know, you started your career journey as an MBA in finance, then you crafted an enviable career for yourself in media and PR. These are the two terms which, as an actor, keep echoing in my system day in, day out. And you're a regular speaker at various platforms, various events, including the TEDx, and you're a strong voice for the women issues and women wellness. Sonia Kulkarni,
Thank
please talk us through your journey.
Thank you so much, Rajiv, and thank you, Amit and Gal, for this honor to be here today. In fact, when we were just chatting up yesterday, I said, you guys are lucky to have three of us here, and it's not even International Women's Day. So in fact, it is, all the more better because women tend to get recognized only on these important days. But so happy to be here, and I'm very humbled, to be in this forum with Aisha and Kathy, who have achieved so much more. And I'm still trying, every day it's just a humble step towards being who I am and who I want to be. Yes, a successful career and entrepreneur now, and I feel every possible opportunity I can try and convert every passion of mine into a venture. But at the core of all this has been fitness, wellness, and like Aisha said, it's not just about being physically fit. It's really also about the mental well-being. And I personally believe that your body, mind, and soul need to be aligned, because at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself. So while we have the external environment, either as family or friends or colleagues, and or professionally that we operate in, but there are those moments that we are with ourselves, and we need to accept and love ourselves for who we are, and that is the biggest challenge I feel. And my initiation into fitness, running, and last almost 10 plus years, and while I used to do it earlier, was married and children, and somewhere I lost the focus, and then I got back into it big bang, and thanks to my son. So I always say he for she, men have to be behind the success of women's health because they play a very big role. And here I am talking to all of you, motivating, because my first ultra run I did in 2016. So literally, it's been a journey of 0 kilometers to 160 kilometers, running from Mumbai to Pune. And I think the biggest message, working very closely with million and inspiring men like Amit and everybody, is if I can, being a single mother, 2 boys, hectic career, if I can do it with dedication, discipline, and daring, anybody can do it. And at what age? Today I'm 46. And I still feel I'm 21. My Instagram handle says that. So it's not just about 20 years to be who you are. I think at heart, you have to just be 20 all the time.
Absolutely. So, right in the very beginning, how I opened my show, it's not about becoming something else. It's about unbecoming who we are not, so that you and I actually become who we really are. And that's the lady live on this platform and on a live broadcast. There's no qualms on saying I am 46 looking 21. Hats off, Sonia Kulkarni. And I think that was a perfect tribute right in the beginning of the show, that on a Guru Purnima, I have these 3 gurus, not just for wellness, but 3 ladies who are inspiring the entire Mard Jati, the male clan, across the world, across the spectrum, and of course in our very country, India, inspiring that it's not the odds which limit you or stop you, but it's the fighter, the champion, and your never say die spirit and believing in yourself. There's a single mother of 2 boys, vivacious, smiling, and inspiring, Khyati Ratan Dhankar. Khyati, you have been raised in a beautiful small town where I have done a lot of my shootings, called Rohtak in Haryana. Mm-hmm. And you're an MBA as well in marketing. Now, after that, you joined a large corporate, and then you pursued your career in wellness as a certified expert and a coach. How did that transition happen, Khyati?
So honestly, I'll cut my story little short, because if I start, then it will become like the entire session about the story, because coming out from a place which is Rohtak is itself a challenge. Like the kind of situations which you face as a girl is only we can experience that. So, and then we were three sisters. So constantly when you have the society pressure, you see on your mother saying that, you know, you don't have a son. And when people say that you don't have a brother, coming from that kind of a thing where I really wanted to make it big and I only wanted to have my actions speak. And then you have the study part. I was always interested in the health things. So I was already doing jogging and the kind of things. And the kind of questions which always amused me was why I see all the women around me unfit, you know, they are struggling with their knees and the back pain. I would see my mother and I would be so sad looking at this, that why they can't take care of themselves. And why when we see in the TV, when the cable TV came and the FTV and all the boys were going mad over looking at those skinny girls. And I was like, why we are not looking like that, you know? And from that, I just started experimenting with myself. So I won't say that I took all the good steps about the health, but yes, I did all kind of experimenting, like, you know, do the fat diet. Oh, of course I'm losing weight. Oh, but no, I'm not, I don't have the strength. So there was a time when I totally became like a zero size and I felt like, oh, I'm, you know, it's in the trend and I'm looking good and kind of a stuff. And that's when my husband told me that you might think that you're looking good, but I think you don't have any strength. And I was like, what do you mean I don't have strength? I'm looking good. I'm zero size. I'm wearing extra smalls. So what's wrong with me? He said, no, you don't have strength. I said, what do you mean? He said, you come with me tomorrow to the park. So I went with him and he told me to do burpees. In 5 burpees, I had a blackout. And I was like, what? What?
That was a reality check. That was a
What's wrong
reality
with me?
check.
And that was the game changer for me.
Yeah.
After that, I was totally into strength training, yeah, experimenting with all kind of food which can give me strength, you know. Then I started calling them superfood, which really worked good on me. And then I always, you know, try to connect the things from the childhood to what exactly I'm doing right now. So I always felt when I'm going to the gym and I'm picking up good weights and then I see some men not picking up that weight, that will always boost me. Also, I'm like, yeah, that's something. You know, you get that kind of feeling. So it's not a Women's Day, but yes, I would still say that, you know, it started giving me a boost and I was really happy having my kids. And then, you know, you have that strength to pick up your kids and play with your kids. So I always had this thing in mind, like how Sonia just said and how Aisha just mentioned about, you know, being young at heart and this. So I always had this motive that when my kids grow up and their friends come home, they should say, oh, no, she's not your mother.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Kathy, when you say it,
they don't want to say that. They don't like it.
actually,
I have a 16-year-old boy, and I can tell you.
oh.
you know, it happens, Aisha, Sonia, and Kathy. It happens with me because having a mother who's an entrepreneur herself, a motivational counselor, and a yoga scholar. So at times, I've got a younger sister. She's a media personality, and a younger brother. I'm the eldest. So at times when people say, "Aap inke bete hain," so then I say, "No, I'm the adopted one. I'm the eldest, but I'm the adopted one." So that's a testimony to the ladies, to the ladies who have maintained. And when you talk about the conservative India, where they say ki beta, the love for a craving, still times have changed and they are changing, evolving for the better, but still the inclination towards a son as a child. There's that dialogue, famous dialogue कि हमारी छोरियां छोरों से कम है के. I would like to redefine that today over here and redefine it to छोरियां छोरों से बहुत आगे हैं. And it's like the choras, the men folk who need to inculcate the values. They say educate the girl child. I believe in we need to educate the girl child for education as per the syllabus and all, but we need to educate the men actually for the moral values, to be accepting, to accept the rise of the female, to accept the growth of the female as a girl, as a daughter, as a girlfriend, as a BV, as an entrepreneur, as a personality, and look into her eyes and salute as that achiever. Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm sure your parents, your family, even your place down there in Rohtak, Haryana, you've made your family and the society really proud, Khyati. Uh,
So yeah. So
Aisha, the fit girl. Aisha, you're very popularly known by your campaign name and social media handle, fitgirl.india. Now that's quite a revolution, you know. Everywhere, people who want to know more about Aisha Billy Moria, you just type in, these two alphabets and letters on any search engine, fitgirl.india, and she's gonna pop up. That's Aisha. How did this campaign happen? And it touches thousands of lives of girls around India. Just enlighten us more about this, Aisha.
So I just want to kind of retract your conversation where you said, we need to educate the men of India. Very well put, and it's very nice to know that men think that way, because I work in the government space, and I work in states like Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, where the population of the adolescent girl child is very high. We are almost talking in millions. And while this is all great, we talk on a platform about how men should be educated, how men should change their mindset, etc. But when you start going deeper into this community and society of our country, we are still living in the 1930s, not even the 1980s. It is a very, very backward society where women are not allowed to do anything they want to do till the male of the house has not given them the permission to do it. So when I started Project Fit Girl, it was to, educate young girls in the field of fitness, just to give them the confidence to be who they are, because that is what the country needs. Women just need the confidence to be who they are. It is honestly very difficult to educate the male counterpart, because there is always a huge ego that comes with them. And I'm not generalizing men. I'm saying a larger population is very smart and educated to understand the rights of women, but the largest population of our country still doesn't get it. And it is our job, I believe, as trainers or coaches, because it's great, we make the money, we get the fame, but how are you impacting society with the skill and knowledge that you have? And for me, that is the most important thing to take away from being Fit Girl, is to give this Fit Girl status to every girl in this country as much as I can, to as many girls, which is why I even started Fit Girl India in the first place, because I don't like the fact that we are always looking up to white skin. Why are we always looking up to foreigners to get motivated? Indian girls are equally talented and equally smart. And like Khyati said, she got her inspiration and did her trial and error. And that's what we want women to do. We want women to fail. We want women to fall, so that they know what it's like to rise up again and what it means to fight. And we need to instill that in urban India and in rural India, because even urban India, there are still so many young girls who get married young. They're still under the pressure of their mother-in-laws and families. Not saying that don't be respectful and don't, adapt to our culture. I think our culture is very beautiful and very loving and very caring, but don't control people. Our country has taught men in a very powerful way to control women, and that's what we want to change. That's what I try to do through Instagram or through my Project Fit Girl. So yeah, I think I answered both your questions in one.
Also, on that very note, that makes me curious. Not just as a host on this very platform, as a person, as a male in the society in today's prevalent India. That makes me curious that when Aisha Billy Moria says that she goes out, ventures out into interiors of UP and MP, and she, in her own ways, tries to bring the change. They say Mahatma Gandhi has said, "Be the change you want to
I
see
want to
in the
see in the
society."
others.
So when
Yeah.
you are that change, and then you want to you actually initiate that education among the girl child. Can you quote one example, one or two small examples where little girls have come and given you the response that yes, through your campaign or your speeches or your programs, they felt a bit of a change in their thought process or their life?
Absolutely, all the time, all the time. They give their gratification, they give their love, and that is why it's so satisfying. It's so satisfying because they always give you feedback, and feedback is important because some of them, I mean, now today, you know, we have mobile phones, we have YouTube. Yes, they may not have Instagram, but some of them are on Facebook. So lots of them keep in touch with me. They have my phone number, they follow me on Facebook, they follow my YouTube, and then they'll call me and say, Didi, ye kiya, Didi, aur kuch sikhao. So I'll send them some stuff on WhatsApp. Once in a blue moon, we'll go on a video call. We'll do like a 4 of us on a video call, and they'll say, Didi, gaon mein ye kiya, I brought about this change. Thank you, aapne confidence diya. You know, so the whole point of the program is not to just make them physically fit. It is to actually give them that confidence that, yes, I'm going to change the fact that girls are going to start understanding what personal hygiene is. Girls are going to start understanding what it means to study ABCD in English and not just in Kirkhagar. You know, so
Right,
it's these girls who are the future of our next, who are the future generation. So our job is to educate them in the field of being fit, not just physical, but mental, emotional. So they have the courage to fight whoever they encounter, and
to
their
fight
fights are
not just the illnesses, the physical, mental roadblocks, but the prevalent contemporary prejudices in our
absolutely,
society as well.
absolutely, because
And
everybody sadly is very vulnerable to rape and sexual assault in our society. So while I feel like, yes, I teach self-defense also, but the self-defense is not just physical, it's emotional and mental, because I don't believe that every defense needs to be fought physically. It also
Right.
needs to be fought mentally, of how you look at a situation and deal with it smartly, because men will always overpower women. We cannot take that away. Men as a species are going to be stronger than women, unless and until a woman is very strong and is like a solid bodybuilder. Yeah, do teen ko patak denge and they're good. But the larger population of our society, women are not as strong as men, and we can accept that. You know, it's not something to be shy from, because physically the male was designed that way, and physically
Yeah,
the
that's
woman was
that's how
designed that way.
biologically, physically,
Yeah.
a particular structure of a male and a female
Yes.
has been designed
Yes.
by the
Yes.
creator. But here,
Yes.
when we refer to strength, it's the strength as a human being, be it the
Yeah.
ideological, be it the growth, the existence. And I'd like to bring in Sonia right into this discussion, where she also is doing her very strong bit, empowering the girl child, the women across the fabric of India through hashtag She Dares.
So yes, it's more actually for women entrepreneurs. The reason being, as I said, I also dealt with a lot of challenges while I was beautifully brought up as part of a family with 3 daughters, and my father was very liberated in his mindset actually. So he always gave us a platform to express ourselves, and for him education was very important, and he never stopped us from doing what we really wanted to do. So while I come from a very simple Maharashtrian family, this has been the upbringing. And then being in the part of the PR and the media fraternity, being in the PR agency world for the last so many years, when I decided to venture out on my own and become an entrepreneur, I realized that there are a lot of challenges. And to begin with, I dropped 2 words from my dictionary, and I think it's very important for all women, that is struggle and victim. So while I may have had, because I was not born to be a victim, I may have had circumstances which may have compromised me in different ways, but these were the 2 words I decided to drop out of my dictionary when I was going through my separation. And being a part of the corporate world, there have been, we face corporate politics and negativity and all of that. And my fitness and my running literally opened up everything for me. And that's why I decided that I must launch this platform called the She Dares, because women are trying to break the stereotype. They're trying to be different. They're trying to dare to be different. And I came across a lot of such women who needed a platform to be more visible, to be profiled, because in media also we have challenges. while there are
Right.
very
Right.
successful women entrepreneurs and they always get written about, they are the underdogs who need to be seen, heard. And I felt I can give them that voice. I can become their voice. And I also have a tattoo here, which is She Dares, because I carry it on my, heart. And it really worked well because, women have a lot of skill sets. But, as women, we constantly need validation, which is again very, very unfortunate. We should not seek validation outside. And I thought that this platform will help, women to come together, work complementary. They can monetize it themselves. Like a friend of mine, she's a designer, she's into graphics, but she has a passion for dollhouses. And, that passion of hers, she wanted to convert into a business. So I thought, here's a platform to try and help build her business with my connections and know-how. Another friend of mine came from Australia. She resettled here in India. She was an IT professional, and because of the changes that she was going through, she got into handcrafted jewelry. And she was such a novice that she was very good in her craft, but she had no sense of business. She had no networking skills. She didn't know how to approach women. What kind of, should she do an e-commerce kind of a business, or should she, have an exhibition or a pop-up kind of a platform? And also with my PR skills, I wanted to help build their profile. So that was really the mindset, for me to start. And I said, I've always tried to convert my passion into ventures, and it's doing well. I get to hear a lot of interesting stories. And I am, while I being a woman, I'm not a very head-on feminist, because I believe in an ecosystem we all have to we're equal, and we all have to be together, men and women. And a lot of men did approach us saying that, are they looking at branding, are they looking at investments, can we participate? So I think that's it's beautiful. I mean, I'm doing it for my passion. It's not monetized.
And I just say that growth is not just a solitary route or a solitary path. It's cohesive. It's inclusive.
Absolutely.
It's including everyone. Yeah. And you use a very beautiful word when you say you give voice to, you are voicing their thoughts, echoing their ambitions and aspirations onto the bigger scale and the bigger platform.
Yeah, because being an entrepreneur myself, because I personally believe talent and entrepreneurship or business, there is no gender. Men are talented, women are talented, likewise. And it's all about your merit and performance and hard work and integrity. And of course, unfortunately, like Aisha has said, it's not a level playing field. We women still have to fight for those, opportunities. But for me, it was important to tell their stories, because that was the first step in trying to give back, using my own career skills, give back to the society in whatever way I can. And I feel if we can, stronger women build stronger tribes. And we need, such strong women around us. You don't need to then feel insecure and, otherwise, because we all can really make a huge difference. So even if one person is benefited out of this, I think I have, achieved what I said to do.
Beautiful. And as you quite rightly said, strong women build stronger tribes. And we have this strong woman, Khyati Dhankar, who has been empowering women, and especially the cause of women wellness. Now, Khyati, you own your own wellness practice called Indian FemFit. You're also a very active figure on the GALF platform. You've done numerous engagements like the corporate Big Four consultancy, social media community sessions like the Wellness Clinic and Women Wellness. How has been the association with GALF over these years?
So GALF, when the CEO of GALF was planning to, we used to meet in a common gym, and we had a talk about that, when you have the people who want to do something, then the thoughts and the processings, it just keep on happening like that. So at that time, I was not sure, because my kid was very small, and I was not sure whether I'll be able to give time. And at that time, I was totally working on myself. When this entire GALF thing started happening, and in this between time, there were many women who wanted to learn from me. They wanted me to coach them. So they started approaching me. So because I didn't have any time at that time, I was just thinking, how can I, promote fitness, and how can I make a change? How can I make an impact? So how will I go out? I don't even meet people. I don't have a, you know, that big girls group. You go there and you socialize, kind of a thing. How do I just step out? And because I'm a very homely person, I just love to stay at home, read my books, and spend time alone, just watching out and stuff. So I was thinking, and I don't know how everyone will agree to it. I don't know how much experience everyone has in this, but I would like to tell you that whenever I have something in my mind which is troubling me, or if I have any questions in my mind, I just keep thinking about it. Somehow I feel like, when I'm telling the universe that I want the answers, somehow I get the answers.
And it's
So
the universe that conspires to give
yes,
the answers
just
to you.
conspires. So I was just throwing out this messages ki how do I spread wellness? How do I teach everyone? I don't even have time. And suddenly, because I was just putting little videos on my Facebook and just like that, just for the hobby. So I just got a call from one of a very old friend. I didn't even spoke to him like maybe in 8 to 10 years. He just called me up and said, "Hey, I'm in Bangalore and I just joined a media company. I was just checking out your Facebook. You have just put a video there. So if you're already putting a video on Facebook, why can't you just make a tutorial kind of a video and just put it on YouTube?" I said, "Who is going to watch my videos on YouTube?" He said, "No, just put it. Anyways, you're putting on Facebook. What's the loss putting on YouTube?" And that just came to my mind. So normally, if someone just gives me an idea, I don't reject it completely. I just start thinking about it. And I always feel like, people come with something weird and that can actually give you direction. So just look for the messages and just focus on that, and maybe it will give you the direction. So I just started thinking about it. Then the next challenge was, how am I going to shoot? I don't even know anything about shooting myself. Now, how to do the camera thing? And then I was like, okay, let me just experiment with this. And I just started putting you will not believe what have I done. I have put the tissue boxes. Above that, just put a mug and then put the phone, and the phone is tilting. And oh my God, how am I looking? Oh, I look so weird. It's okay, let it be. Anyways, who is going to judge me? Never mind, just put this video. And that time I just uploaded my first video on YouTube. It was so weird, and I knew people are going to reject me. And I just posted it, and then I'm looking, okay. Then my husband is like, "Why don't you just shut your phone down?" I was like, "I'm just checking who is watching my videos." Then the very next day, my own friends who I thought were very close to me, they came to me and they said, there are so many fitness channels on YouTube. You think anyone is going to look into your videos? And I'm like, are they my friends? I mean, they are just so brutally critical about me.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I told them that I'm just putting for those 4 or 5 people who really want me, to coach them, because I can't just explain everything on phone. I don't have that much time.
Right.
So maybe I just share the video, maybe only to those 5 people. So my objective always was how to save my time. I can't give my time, my full day, explaining about the diet and this thing over the phone to everyone. So let me just start putting the videos. That's how whatever started coming to my mind, whatever I was experimenting, I just started putting on the video. So my YouTube channel, it had no name first. So I was only going by Khyati Ratan. And then suddenly, the day I started this channel, I put my first video. I went to Goregaon Sports Club and I met one guy. Suddenly, I was just jogging, and then I just stopped because I was feeling a little lazy. And the guy just passed me and he said, "Why are you so lazy today? You used to run a lot. Why are you lazy?" And I didn't even know that person.
Oh.
So I looked at him and I said, "Hi, yeah, I was just a little lazy today." And then I just started jogging with him. And then I just asked me, "What do you do?" and stuff. And I came to know that he is one of the best violin players in our country. And he has his own YouTube channel. And, he's putting YouTubes, he's doing shows and stuff.
Wow.
So he's a musician and he's a very popular musician. His name is Sandeep. And he has worked on very good projects. So he told me, then I told him, I am also on YouTube. and I looked at his followers and I was like, what?
Kathy, that's so interesting that that as a person, as a personality, when you have a lot of things to express to yourself, to the people
Yes.
around, or you want to say something. Let's forget about all the big words, putting videos and running channels and all. It's all about an expression of thought, the
God.
feeling deep within that as Khyati, as Aisha, as Sonia, I believe in something. As Rajiv, I believe in something as a person. As Amit Vashish, the man behind Gal, we believe in something and we just want to express. We just want to express it. And you're the one who says that universe in its own beautiful myriad ways started conspiring, bringing people into your life. And see, universe conspires, but we are the ones who need to read those signs. We are the ones who need to be intellectual enough and sometimes just go follow the unknown and trust yourself, trust your instincts, and just that something about that X factor which you very beautifully did, Khyati. That's so inspiring, so inspiring.
Thank you so much.
And now, as my God, today is being the grand finale episode. This is the first time I'm wishing that could this episode have been, probably an hour and a half or 2 hours long. It's such an engaging conversation with all three of you, and not just for the sake of saying, because it is so interesting to know about not just the achiever, because they say there's a showroom and then there's a workshop. That's the workshop which really matters. The workshop about the achiever, which is known to the world. So if there's Aisha, there's Khyati, there's Sonia, which the world knows and admires and goes gaga about your achievements. But it's the workshop behind closed doors, that day in, day out, small disciplines, rigorous practices as people, which you've done and you still do that day in, day out, which make you those achievers and we get inspired from. So now, Aisha, coming to you as we enter the last 15 minutes, talking, now I'll be addressing Aisha, the athlete, the runner. And predominant in past couple of years, the running scene in India has picked up big time. There's been a boom, 10 kilometers, half marathons, full marathons, and ultras, and a lot of ultras are happening. So how do you, as a runner, as an athlete, see that? And do you also see there's enough education among the runners as regards
No.
running is concerned?
No, not at all. And which is why I completely dislike the running culture in India. I always say it, and Amit has seen and heard me saying this a lot. We are a herd of donkeys that will just follow the trend and not educate themselves. And while there are, again, I don't generalize, I say there is a population that is smart, that is educating themselves, that is going out to listen to what training is about, what programming is about. But I'm going to say about 70% of Indian population is just running like the herd, and which is why people are getting injured, people are getting heart attacks, people are going through depression, because it has become a trend. Sport is not
Absolutely.
a trend.
People are getting mad about, okay, this competitiveness is one aspect, and then you use the word going mad about certain aspects,
Yes.
about the mileage being
Obsession.
clocked, the time, being obsessive about that, or the pace at which I am running. To an extent, if it's waterlogged, still I want to run in those
Correct.
waterlogged roads, potholed
Correct.
roads.
Correct. Also, social media has played a big role in getting people through depression, getting people into depression, not
Yeah.
through, getting into depression. It's very important what you post. If you don't post, matlab nahi bhage aaj. You know, aaj to workout kiya hai, matlab I have to show the work. But you know what's worst is when you've had a bad workout also, you'll whine and you'll cringe and you'll cry and you want the attention. Like Sonia said, women are always attention seeking at a very large extent. Very large extent. Men you don't see complaining so much, but women will go out of their way to want attention on a platform which is so futile and fake. I'm sorry to say that social media is by far the most fake platform when you want somebody's gratification. It is not the place for you to get to feel like, oh, I'm the best person in the world. It is somebody
So
who
what I
genuinely,
gather from what you are saying, Aisha, what I gather from you, what you as an uh, champion athlete, what you say, it is a very powerful statement that it's not about the validation or the
yeah,
gratification feeling you get. You
yeah,
don't want your achievement or your workout to get validated from the entire world. It's an
all the time,
expression.
all the time.
Yeah, because I'll share my experience because being an actor and also okay, क्योंकि आप actor हैं इसलिए आप runner बन गए. I said
Hmm.
no yaar, like I work out. It's another form of exercise and workout for me. I do yoga, I do
Yeah,
pranayam for those n number of hours, and there are other exercise practices which I do, and I also run.
yeah.
And now
While
there are
I'm not
people in
saying,
these lockdown months, they have been saying, Rajiv, आप सिर्फ 2 दिन post करते हैं, because I say those are the 2 days in a week when I train with my coach online, and the other days I practice that.
yeah,
So when I train with my coach, I like to share it with the world that yeah, these are the
yeah.
things.
No,
And people still complain.
while I'm not saying that people should not post. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
the intent of which they post with. I run a fitness platform, so I'm doing this all the time, right?
absolutely.
It is, I post every day. I even post the workouts that I do of my own.
Yeah, yes, yes.
But the point is, I want people to understand that this is not the place to get validation from, and this is, have your own confidence of what you've done. What you share is personal. But
Yes.
if you've had a bad day, it's okay, because there are worse people than you. There are people who don't even get to eat proper meals, but they're still running a 42-kilometer. You go to places like Satara and Kolhapur, they don't have Facebook. When I was young, we had nothing. Nobody knew I was a national champion till Midday posted my photo, or Times of India did something. But we never had any of these platforms to show, to self-market ourselves. It's today that people can self-market themselves. But don't make it an obsessive practice about me, because in the me, you forget that sport will always stay. You will come and you will go, and sport will always stay. So don't make the sport so much about me, because it's not about you. It's about the sport. And
And
which
as
is what I want.
the wellness mantra has been, listen to your body, respect your limitations,
Absolutely.
give yourself time. Give yourself
Absolutely.
time to overcome, to learn from the coaches. Number
Yeah.
one, learn, apply, give yourself time to see how it's being applied.
Also
And that's how
process
the
it.
change happens.
You have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
process the training. You have to process that, okay, I had a failed day. You have to process, okay, today I had a very good day. You finish your workout, the next thing it's on Instagram or Facebook. Have you even taken time to tell yourself, okay, what did I do wrong today? How can I get better at this? Where is your self-talk? Where is your instinctive understanding of your body? Because people don't understand their body enough. And I think platforms that we have now on social media, these platforms are to encourage people to listen to their body and not just follow what the coach says. I never believe in the policy of follow your coach. No, follow your heart. Most importantly, follow what your intuition is telling you. Don't be a
Right,
blind
right.
bat, because when the blind follow the blind, they fall into a ditch. Muhammad Ali said
Absolutely.
this: the blind should never follow the
Absolutely.
blind, because they will fall into a ditch. And sadly, this country has fallen into a ditch when it comes to running, because we are so talented. Indians are so talented. Indians are so hardworking, and I have seen this myself, but they do not want to use their brain. They do not want to use their
Absolutely.
brain. A very
So not
small,
getting into that rat race, working out,
yes,
yes, fine, exercising regularly, as
yes,
little
good.
as 15, 20, 30 minutes. There are people, I've come across people now, Khyati, Sonia, Aisha, you will be surprised. They say, Rajiv, I started yoga, but then in the first place, I wasn't sweating. So I don't think yoga is a
It's
form of
working for
exercise
me.
and workout, and that too coming from males and females who are per se from the educated urban class. So not sweating out is being equated to not working out. Like that was
Correct.
the
I want
yeah.
to come
Exactly.
here for a minute,
Yes, Sonia.
just
Yeah.
saying what I think to what Aisha is saying. Like I started running at a very, like maybe last 6-7 years ago. And so I don't have a sports background. I'm not a professional athlete or whatever. So, and I love running. So it's for leisure, fun, and of course for a bit of exercise. But like Aisha was saying, because of this whole herd mentality, and people don't know how much, because there is this whole fascination about keep doing more, and about this whole timing culture. So, people actually end up looking down upon people who don't have so-called great timing. And I have to face it very often. I had somebody who was told me in one of the runs that, oh, so you did your 21 this much, you're so young compared to me, and you still. I said, we've ran the same distance, we've burned the same amount of calories. It's all right. Medal भी वही मिला है ना. आप मेरे से आगे थोड़ा भाग के पहले क्या कर लिया? Cross finishing line वही cross करना है. There are families, there are friends waiting out. What's the hurry? You enjoy the run at your pace. I'm enjoying. I like to stop, take a selfie, chat up with people. That's my way of doing it. So I'm just saying that this also puts the pressure, and this whole depression she's talking about. I know so many running friends who had to unfortunately take a break because of the injury. They've overdone it, and they've gone into a state of depression. They've literally cried saying, "Abhi kya, my career, my whole running thing is finished." I said, "Why? Come back again. Take the 6 months. It's never over till it's over."
It's never over till it's over. And this thing holds much more importance.
I had an ankle fracture, and after my Mumbai Pune run, I had trained so beautifully. I ran the whole distance, and next year, unfortunately, I slipped from the staircase and I had an ankle fracture. And obviously I had to give it some time to in fact I must share the story here is how stupid we can get. When my ankle was healing and had not even healed completely, even then I did a couple of things. I did my Oxfam 100-kilometer walk, trail walk. Then I also did a trek. Then I obviously messed it up further, and then it took me almost 6 months to 8 months to come back. I took time. I let it heal. I've come back stronger. I work out. I do as much as I can. But I think this is important. I think as a community, as a fraternity,
Yes.
It's not a fad. I think what I can do in my capacity, my whole point is be active.
Yes,
train every day to be active, because being active is not in our culture. Unfortunately, our ancestors did it because they used to work in the farms and they used to walk around. But it's not a fad now. So when I tell my
It's lifestyle. It's lifestyles that have changed.
I say, "Mom, I want a six-pack ab." I say, "Shut up. पहले सुबह उठ के 10 किलोमीटर जॉग करके फिर मेरे से बात कर ले. Let's kind of do this 10-kilometer running together." But I think we need to promote this, that you need to be active, and being active, and wonderful trainers like both of you who are so much into fitness and wellness, is that being active can be whatever you like doing. Then it could
Absolutely.
be yoga, it could be doing a session with Aisha or Khyati. It could be walking, take a beautiful brisk walk.
Yeah.
Be active for 30 minutes daily, whether you're a man, woman, child, senior citizen.
Yeah.
I think that's important, and enjoying.
So to sum up what you've said, Aisha and Sonia, that listen to your body. Number one, it's okay to have limitations. It's natural. Now there is an approach. Address your limitations. Take the help of the expert, the coach, but listen to that. Pay attention to that, but also listen to your body. So apply that knowledge, apply that gyan in collaboration with respecting the demands and the limitations of your own body. This thing coming from Aisha, who's an expert champion athlete, and Sonia, mother of two. I think it's very encouraging, especially for most of our clientele when most of the clients are they're the corporates, working professionals, and especially working mothers. So it's gonna be really encouraging. And Khyati, you are into something you on a regular basis through your wellness campaigns and your sessions. You handle two main aspects, like the health issues about the preventive health, and then there are issues which need medical advice. So I'd like to know particularly, and in brief, if you can just enlighten us, what is that point when you are, as an expert, you're able to segregate that this particular category or the issue or the client in his or her case is in the phase of preventive health, and or now it needs medical advice?
So I tell you stepwise, it's like it's already like what we have discussed just now. Listen to your body, like of a thing. So first thing is, for the people who want to get into fitness, or who are into fitness, whatever age you are and whatever help you are taking, whomsoever is your coach, the step one is you need to tell each and everything about your health to your coach. It's your duty to inform about how you are right now. And so in my own case, I would say that I need to know when I feel breathless. I need to know what is my stamina, how I feel. Secondly, if you have any joints issue, if you have any back pains or any kind of neck issues, spine issues, if you have already, you need to take care of certain exercises which may not be suitable for you. So what kind of alternatives you can do, and how you can improve yourself. So that is more important. And thirdly, I always tell my clients that like, the people who are into fitness for very long, they will understand that soreness is good. Like when you're working out, when your body is getting some changes, your body will get sore. So there are clients there are people who next day who will work out, next day they'll say that, no, today my body is paining, so I'm not going to work out today. So then I ask them, is it paining or are you sore? There's a difference.
Oh,
Are
yes,
you paining?
yes.
Is it paining? So just think and then tell yourself, are you in pain? So if you are in pain, you take rest, you take a break, let your body recover, do some stretches, do some mobility, and just take some rest. And if it's sore, then it's good. It means it's working. So without putting yourself in an uncomfortable position, you can't transform yourself. So if I'm sitting and I'm very comfortable doing this, it's not going to get any major change in my hands. But if I pick up a weight, I'm very uncomfortable. And then when I do this, it's particularly going to work on my wrist for sure. So I'm just saying that if you want to bring in a change, you need to put yourself in that uncomfortable position. You will have to go through some discomfort. And preventively, what you can do is start working on your postures. There will be certain exercises which some people are not able to do. Sometimes it's not about that body part. For example, 2 years back, if I was not able to take my hands straight up and do a squat, it doesn't mean.
Khyati, as much as all your fans and all our viewers out there on facebook.com/mygal who are glued to their mobile, laptop screens, computer screens, and have been enjoying all these 12 episodes, and today being the grand finale, they've been so eager and curious to listen to you, Ayesha and Sonia, and they'll be wanting to punch me right now into the face. Okay, guys and girls, I'm all yours, and I shall text my address as well. Please come over. But all from Khyati and all her sessions, be it the individual or the group sessions, and what Khyati has to say about preventive health or about the health issues for women and for overall fitness, you need to log on to this platform called the My Gals, the mobile app.
Exactly.
And
so
the web
we're coming
application.
up with the online packages on Gals now, since everyone is in lockdown and everyone is going to,
So, Khyati, as we enter the final minute of this episode, it's been such an enriching conversation with all three of you ladies. Any one-line final remarks or final takeaways for the audience, Ayesha?
I just want to say that, and I think it's really important for people to know, and with no disrespect to Khyati, but I think this might also be very educational for you. And I've been in this field for a very long time to understand that soreness is good, but soreness comes about when your food is not good. Okay, so it's very important that you focus on food, because if somebody is constantly complaining of soreness, that means they're not eating the right kind of food, because nobody should have long-term soreness. So very important that when you train people, food is your 70% battle over the 30% physical work that you do.
So as far as training is important, physically, nutrition and the food intake. Food intake.
What you intake is very important. So people out there who are runners, who are fitness enthusiasts, please train smart, train hard. Training hard is fun, but train smart and listen to your body, listen to your gut. Always take guidance from experts and coaches. I'm not saying no, they are there for a reason, but please listen to your intuition. When it says stop, stop.
Thank you. Listen to your body, enjoy your work.
Absolutely. Enjoy it. Don't make it a chore.
And I'd like to listen to the final parting comment from Sonia as well. Yes.
Just two bit of my
Sonia, I am afraid, ladies, I am virtually in the last minute of this series in the episode.
So I'm going to quickly just give two bits of too many.
As much as I would have wanted this session to continue, because there's so much more to talk to you. Yeah.
So I'm just, when I was, had gone to this corporate talk part of GALF, to one of the largest investment banking firm. And that's what I spoke to the ladies there, that, I mean, my own personal journey from being 104 kilos to 54 kilos, through fitness was proper medical, advice sought. I followed that. So it's not difficult. What also made that change happen is a mindset change. I think it's extremely important for us to have that open mindset, prioritize ourselves, because we have lots of excuses. Time nahi hai, bahut kaam hai, bacche hai, हजार चीजें hai, but it's in your hand. You cannot always blame your husbands and your families for your health not being your top priority. It has to come from within. So, give that time to yourself, prioritize yourself. Also, most importantly, stop having this unrealistic, expectations. Keep small goals. You may want to lose 30 kilos. You may want to be, size 0. You may want to be running, full marathons. It is great, but take it one step at a time, and don't get disappointed, because it is a daily battle. You have to fight it out, combat it, and trust me, if you're on the right path, you will only succeed. And the example is sitting in front of you.
Absolutely. So prioritize yourself, and of course, words from the wise ladies, listening to your body and respecting your limitations. Soreness was a very important point, because soreness, as quite rightly put out by Khyati, growth doesn't happen till you cross the comfort zone and go into a slight discomfort. But a word of caution from Aisha, that if there is discomfort called soreness, or any kind of pressure or tension to the joints, to the muscles, or to any body part which is being worked out, definitely pay attention so that there's no damage. And if there is slight amount of damage, so damage control, the preventive health issues can be addressed, and preventive health can take care of a further damage, and an overall all-round wellness, physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional, can happen for all of us. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much, Khyati, Ratan, Sonia Kulkarni, Aisha Belli Moria. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amit. Wherever he is, I'm sure he's watching us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gal. Thank you, Rajiv. And wonderful meeting you, Aisha and Khyati.
Nice to meet you guys too. Thank you for having me.
And thanks to all our wonderful viewers who have been supportive, who have been watching all our episodes, and our brand partners who have stood by us. It's Brahmin, Fasten Up, Health Trek, Healthcare, and Aromica Tea. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all. That's all we had in this beautiful, enriching, engrossing, and such a learning journey called Wellness Talks with Rajiv. This is your host, Rajiv Bharadwaj, who is enriched, who has grown, who has been, entertained, and who is much more learned on the wellness front today. Thanks to all our wonderful guests. This is Rajiv Bharadwaj saying goodbye. Take very good care of yourself.
Stay safe, be active, and be unstoppable, no matter what.
Thank you.
Thank you.